The box was small enough to hide and heavy enough to matter. Lily dragged it across the concrete floor of the storage room, coughing through dust that rose like old smoke. The overhead bulb flickered. Rain tapped against the narrow basement window. Somewhere upstairs, the dishwasher hummed through another ordinary Saturday. "Dad," she called. "I found treasure." Or a body. Adrian Cole laughed from the hallway. "If it's treasure, 50-50 split. If it's a body, call your mother." He stepped into the room with a roll of contractor bags in one hand. At 42, Adrian moved with the quiet precision of a man who built things for a living and repaired them at home because he could not stand disorder. He wore jeans streaked with paint and a gray t-shirt damp at the collar. He was handsome in the forgettable way decent men often were: clean lines, tired eyes, no performance. Lily sat cross-legged on the floor beside the box. 14 years old. Sharp chin. Dark hair tied carelessly back. The kind of face that shifted every month toward womanhood while still holding traces of childhood. It was behind the Christmas bins, she said. Which means Mom hid it. Or forgot it. Mom forgets birthdays, not secrets. Adrian smirked despite himself. The box was walnut old-fashioned with brass corners turned green at the edges. No lock. Just a ribbon wrapped around it faded from red to brown. On top sat an envelope yellowed with age. A. Cole. Private. His smile faded. Lily noticed first. "You okay?" "Yeah." He took the envelope slowly. It was already slid open, then tucked closed again. Someone had opened it years ago. Inside was a laboratory letterhead, crisp once, now soft with time. He scanned the first lines. Paternity probability, 0.00%. The room became soundless. Even the rain seemed to stop. "Dad," Lily said again, quieter now. Adrian read the page twice, then a third time, because language could not possibly mean what it clearly meant. The child referenced in the report was Lillian Grace Cole. Date 14 years earlier. Requested by Megan Cole. His wife's name, his daughter's name, his life. He lowered the paper carefully as if sudden movement might break whatever remained. "What is it?" He looked at Lily. At the eyes he had kissed goodnight through fevers. At the knees he had bandaged. At the child whose science fair volcano he had stayed up until 2 a.m. painting. At the girl who still texted him memes from upstairs when they were in the same house. Nothing in her face changed. Everything in his did. "Just paperwork," he said. She frowned immediately. "That's a lie." He swallowed. Lily had always known when people lied. It was one of the things he admired most in her. He opened the rest of the box. Photographs. Megan younger laughing on a dock beside a blonde man Adrian had never seen. A hospital bracelet with Megan's maiden name. 3 folded letters tied with string. Bank receipts. A second envelope. Lily reached for a photo. "Who's that with Mom, Lily?" His voice was sharper than intended. She froze. He softened instantly. "Go upstairs, please." "No, please." Children know when their childhood is ending. Sometimes it happens in a hospital. Sometimes in a courtroom. Sometimes under a flickering bulb beside holiday decorations. Lily stood slowly. "Is this about me?" Another lie. She stared at him for a long moment, then walked out without speaking. Adrian waited until he heard her footsteps on the stairs. Then he opened the first letter. "Megan, you can't keep shutting me out. If the baby is mine, I deserve to know. If she isn't, I deserve the truth anyway. No signature needed." The photo had already named him in Adrian's mind. The second letter was angrier. The third desperate. Then the bank slips monthly deposits from an account under Envale Consulting spanning nearly 2 years after Lily's birth. Adrian sat back on the cold floor. There are moments when rage arrives hot and clean. This was not one of them. This was colder. This was architecture collapsing silently from inside the walls. Upstairs footsteps crossed the kitchen. Megan was home early. He heard her voice. Bright, casual. "Why does it smell like dust in here?" Lily answered. Nothing. Adrian placed every item back into the box except the DNA report. He folded it once and slid it into his back pocket. Then he stood. When he entered the kitchen, Megan was setting grocery bags on the island. Tailored coat. Perfect hair. The polished confidence of a woman who managed school committees, charity lunches, and social calendars like military campaigns. She smiled automatically. There you are. Can you... He placed the report on the marble counter between them. Her hand stopped halfway into a grocery bag. For the first time in 14 years, Adrian watched his wife become honest through fear. Where did you get that? She asked. Storage room. Megan glanced toward the hallway where Lily stood half hidden. Lily. Megan said quickly, Go to your room. No, Adrian said. His tone made both of them still. He looked only at Megan. One question first, he said. Then we decide what happens next. She pressed her lips together. Is she my daughter? The dishwasher continued humming like nothing in the world had changed. Megan's eyes filled not with grief but calculation. And Adrian understood the worst part before she spoke. She had rehearsed this moment for years. The house had never felt large until silence moved into it. It was a modern 3-story home of glass cedar and clean lines Adrian had designed himself 12 years earlier, back when he believed structure could prevent collapse. Now every open space seemed to magnify what no one wanted to say. The kitchen lights were too bright. The marble island looked surgical. Even the refrigerator hum sounded accusatory. Megan stood at the far end of the counter, fingers wrapped around a glass of water she had not touched. Adrian remained opposite her, jacket still on as if he might leave at any second. Lily had gone upstairs. Or pretended to. Answer me, Adrian said. His voice was low, flat. That frightened Megan more than shouting would have. She looked toward the staircase. Can we not do this in front of her? You did it in front of her for 14 years. Adrian, is she my biological daughter? The words landed harder, spoken aloud. Megan closed her eyes briefly. I don't know for certain. He stared at her. That's not the question. It's the only honest answer. He let out a short breath that held no humor. Try honesty again. She placed the glass down carefully. There was someone else. Before we were serious. Before... She hesitated. He nodded once slow. There it is. It overlapped, she said quietly. How long? A few months. When I was working nights in Portland. Megan said nothing. That was answer enough. Adrian remembered that season with brutal clarity, now commuting for a project, sleeping in hotels. Calling her every night, missing dinners, apologizing for ambition he thought was for both of them. You were with him while I was paying for our future. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. Megan's composure cracked. I was lonely. You were dishonest. She flinched. He stepped closer, palms flat against the island. When Lily was born, did you suspect? Yes. The word came out thin and immediate. It hurt more than the affair. You looked at me holding that newborn child, Adrian said, and let me believe. I wanted us to be a family. You wanted certainty funded by someone else. No. Tears gathered now, real this time. I loved you. I still do. He shook his head. Love without truth is management. Megan inhaled sharply as if slapped. I took the test when she was 6 months old, she said. His jaw tightened. Without telling me. I thought if it came back positive, no one would ever need to know. And when it didn't, I panicked. So you hid it in a box. I hid one paper. You hid my life. The staircase creaked. Both of them turned. Lily stood 3 steps down, barefoot, arms wrapped around herself in an oversized sweatshirt. Her face was pale in the recessed light. How old was I? She asked. Neither parent moved. How old was I when you knew? Megan's lips parted. Baby, please go upstairs. No. Lily's voice sharpened. How old? 6 months, Adrian said, because lies had already had enough years. Lily looked at her mother as if seeing a stranger behind familiar skin. You knew my whole life. Megan climbed 1 step toward her. I knew there was a possibility. That's different. It was enough to test, Adrian said, warning in his tone. But Lily was already descending the rest of the stairs. Who's my father? We don't know for sure, Megan said. You literally tested one of them. It was complicated. No? Lily snapped, tears rising. Complicated is taxes. This is disgusting. Adrian had never heard that voice from her sharp adult wounded. Megan reached for her hand. Lily pulled back so fast the motion seemed instinctive. Lily, listen to me. Your dad is your dad. She turned to Adrian. The room held its breath. Are you? She asked. He felt something inside him tear cleanly. I'm here, he said. That's not what I asked. He crossed the space slowly. I don't know what blood says tonight. Her chin trembled. But I know who taught you to ride a bike. I know who sat outside urgent care when you broke your wrist. I know who cried in the car after dropping you at middle school because you looked suddenly older. Lily broke, then shoulders folding inward. But you didn't know either, she whispered. No, he said. I didn't. She backed away from both of them. So I'm the only person in this house who wasn't in on it. Then she ran upstairs. A bedroom door slammed hard enough to shake framed photos in the hallway. Megan covered her mouth. Adrian did not comfort her. You need to fix this, she said through tears. He stared at her in disbelief. You still think this is a task list. She's hurting. She's shattered. She needs stability. She needed truth. Megan gripped the counter. What do you want me to say? That I was scared. That every year it got harder. That if I told you I'd lose everything? Yes, he said. Say the selfish part clearly. She straightened, anger replacing panic. Fine. I was scared to lose my husband, my daughter's father, our life, this house, our name. Are you happy? No. Because I'm human. Adrian, I made one mistake. He laughed once hollow. No. One mistake was the affair. What followed was strategy. Her face hardened. Careful. Is that a threat? It's a warning. Families survive worse than this if people choose discretion. There it was again. Image first. Truth second. He suddenly saw years of polished dinners, curated holiday cards, carefully staged social media posts. Their marriage had not only been lived, it had been managed. Who is he? Adrian asked. She looked away. Who Nathan Vale? The name fit instantly into the photographs. Does he know he knew there was a chance? Did he ever try to contact Lily? Megan said nothing. Did he? A few times. And I handled it. Something cold moved through Adrian's chest. How? It doesn't matter now. It matters now more than anything. He took his phone from his pocket and called his office manager. Megan blinked. What are you doing canceling tomorrow's meetings? Adrian, and Mondays. Stop being dramatic. He met her eyes. This is the first honest reaction in this house. Upstairs, muffled sobbing seeped through the vents. He ended the call. Then he picked up the wooden box from the floor where he had set it beside the doorway. Megan's face changed. You're not taking that. I am. It belongs here. No, he said. It belonged buried. He walked past her toward the study. Where are you going? To find out how many more years of my life are fiction? Behind him, the front security system chimed. A notification lit Megan's phone on the counter. Unknown number, she deserves to know before he does. Megan lunged for the screen. Adrian saw it first. And for the first time that night, Megan looked afraid of something other than him. By morning, the house looked normal again. Sunlight moved across the oak floors. The coffee machine clicked on at 6:30. A delivery truck paused outside and rolled on. Megan had changed into cream slacks and a navy blouse, the uniform of capable women who expected the world to continue cooperating. But normality was only staging now. Lily did not come downstairs. Her bedroom door remained closed through breakfast, through 8 o'clock, through the first school bell she had already missed. Adrian stood outside the door twice before knocking the third time. Lily. No answer. It's me. Silence, then the sound of sheets shifting. He opened the door a few inches. The room was dim despite the clear day. Curtains drawn, clothes on the floor, her backpack untouched beside the desk. Lily sat curled against the headboard, knees pulled to her chest, eyes swollen from crying. She looked smaller than yesterday. "I'm not going to school," she said. "I figured. You gonna force me?" "No." That got her attention. She glanced up. Megan appeared in the hallway behind him. "She has exams next week." Adrian didn't turn around. "Close the door. This concerns both of us. It concerns her first." Megan stood there another second, then walked away in offended silence. Adrian entered and sat in the desk chair, leaving distance between them. "You hungry number lying burns calories." A tiny involuntary sound escaped her, almost a laugh, almost grief. He let the moment pass gently. After a while she said, "Did you sleep?" "Not much." "Me neither." She stared at the blanket threads between her fingers. "I keep trying to remember if I ever looked like you." The sentence landed harder than accusation. "You don't need to," Adrian said quietly. "Yes, I do." Her voice sharpened. "That's how families work. People say stupid things like, 'You have your dad's eyes,' or 'your mom's smile.' What am I supposed to do now? Tell people I have no one's face. You have your face. That's not comforting." "No," he admitted. "It probably isn't." She wiped at her cheeks angrily. "Maybe if I'd never been born, none of this would happen." He stood so fast the chair legs scraped wood. "Don't say that again." She startled. He softened, immediately kneeling so they were eye level. "This is not because of you. Not 1 inch of it. But I'm the reason. You are the evidence," he said. "Not the cause." Her breathing shook. "I don't know who I am. That feeling is real," he said. "But it's temporary. You don't know that." "No," he said. "I know people can survive truths they didn't ask for." She looked at him, then really looked. "Are you staying?" He could have lied for comfort. He chose precision. "I'm staying today. Tomorrow too. The rest I haven't decided." "Because of me?" "Because of everything." She nodded as if punishment made sense. Downstairs, cabinet doors shut harder than necessary. Megan entered the study at noon carrying 2 coffees and the expression of someone prepared to negotiate optics. "I spoke to the school," she said. "They'll mark Lily excused." Adrian sat at his desk with the wooden box open beside legal pads and folders. "How efficient." "You don't need to be cruel." "No. I'm discovering I needed truth." She set a mug down. "You've barely slept. You're digging through old papers like a conspiracy theorist." He said nothing. That's not healthy behavior. He almost smiled. There it was, unstable, obsessive, irrational. The narrative forming in real time. "You want me emotional," he said. "It would help you. I want peace. You want control." Megan folded her arms. "Lily needs one parent acting normally." He slid a document across the desk. It was a bank statement from 14 years ago, one of several he had found online through archived records and household tax files. Recurring deposits, Vale Consulting, LLC. Megan's face tightened. "She needs one parent telling the truth," Adrian said. "That money was support. For a child you denied he might have fathered. It was complicated. You keep using that word when you mean profitable." Her eyes flashed. "Be careful what story you build. Courts don't reward vindictive men." He looked up slowly. "Interesting choice of noun." She left without touching the coffee. That afternoon, Adrian drove to the public records office downtown. Seattle moved around him in gray glass and wet sidewalks, people carrying lunches and deadlines, strangers protected by ordinary concerns. He envied them with surprising intensity. He requested archived business filings for Nathan Vale, then voter records, then an old address tied to the consulting company. Paper trails were less glamorous than revenge, but more useful. Back home, Lily was in the kitchen making toast she would not eat. "Mom said you went out," she said. "I did." "To find him?" Adrian paused. "Maybe. Do you hate me for wanting to know?" The question was so naked it hurt. "No." "What if he's better than you?" He met her eyes. Then you'd deserve 2 decent men in your life. She burst into tears before the toaster popped. He crossed the room and held her while she shook. From the doorway, Megan watched with unreadable eyes. That night, while the house slept badly, Adrian returned to the box. Under the false-bottom thin cedar lifted by a loosened hinge, he found more letters. Not copies. Originals. Megan. I'm not trying to destroy your marriage. I'm asking to meet the child if there's any chance she is mine. You can supervise. You can choose the place. But keeping her from the truth will become its own cruelty another. You cashed the checks, but returned my birthday gift unopened. Please stop pretending I'm dangerous because it helps your story. Another dated when Lily was 7. I saw them at Green Lake Park. She has my mother's chin. I walked away because you asked me to. I'm not sure that makes me noble anymore. Adrian read each one twice. Not a predator. Not absent by indifference. A man managed at distance. He heard movement behind him. Lily stood in the doorway wearing socks in silence. Couldn't sleep, she said. He handed her the top letter without speaking. She read slowly. Her lips parted. He wanted to know me. Yes. Mom said no one else cared. Adrian nodded once. She sank into the chair opposite him. So she lied to everyone separately. Looks that way. Lily touched the edge of the paper like it might burn. If he wanted me, and you loved me, then why do I feel unwanted? Because betrayal teaches children to misread themselves, Adrian thought. Instead, he said, because adults made choices around you and called it protection. She looked at the box. It's weird, she whispered. This ugly thing ruined everything. No, Adrian said. It revealed what was already broken. A floorboard creaked in the hallway. Megan had been listening. This time, neither of them invited her in. On Adrian's phone, a new email notification appeared from an unknown address. Subject: She never showed you the final test result. Attached lab_amended_report.pdf. He stared at the screen. Lily saw his face change. What now? Adrian opened the file and realized the first lie might not have been the biggest one. The amended report had been signed 3 weeks after the first one. Adrian read it once, then again, under the desk lamp's white glare, searching for the trick. The document referenced contamination in the original sample set. Retesting recommended. Preliminary findings voided. No final paternity conclusion. The first report, the one that shattered the house, had been invalid. Lily watched from across the study, wrapped in a blanket like armor. What does that mean? She asked. It means, Adrian said slowly, the test your mother hid was already disputed. So, you could still be my biological dad. Yes. Or not. Yes. She sat down hard in the chair. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Certainty had been cruel. Uncertainty was somehow worse. Did Mom know this too? Lily asked. Adrian looked at the signature date. She had to. That answer landed like a second betrayal. At breakfast, Megan entered wearing workout clothes and composure. She stopped when she saw the amended report laid neatly beside Adrian's coffee. No one touched the food. You want to explain? Adrian asked. Megan remained standing. Where did you get that? That phrase is becoming your religion. She glanced at Lily, then back to him. Not in front of her. In front of her is exactly where your decisions lived. Lily's fork clattered onto the plate. Did you know the first test was wrong? Megan inhaled slowly. It was inconclusive. That's not what you told anyone, Adrian said. I told no one anything. Exactly. Megan sat down carefully, as if posture could stabilize reality. The lab called later, she said. They said contamination was possible. By then we were bonding. We were a family. You mean I was attached enough to be useful, Adrian said. That's not fair. No, Lily said, voice shaking. Fair would have been telling me my life had footnotes. Megan turned to her daughter. I was trying to protect you. From what facts? From instability. Lily stood so abruptly her chair tipped backward. You are instability. She walked out, leaving the chair on the floor. Megan flinched at the slam upstairs. Then she looked at Adrian with exhausted anger. Are you enjoying turning her against me? He stared at her in disbelief. You still think this is something I'm doing? By noon, Adrian was downtown again. His architect's precision had found a new use timelines records inconsistencies. He sat in a quiet cafe with spreadsheets open on his laptop reconstructing 14 years of hidden transactions. The deposits from Vail Consulting LLC had not ended after 2 years. They had changed names, smaller transfers, different shell accounts, seasonal bursts around tuition deadlines, summer camps, orthodontics, always routed to Megan's private account, never the family one. He traced email metadata from old backups he had legally accessed through their shared home server, password resets, burner accounts, deleted threads partially recoverable. One subject line repeated across years. For Lily, another, please let me meet her. Another, you promised this would stop when she turned 10. Adrian leaned back, pulse slow and cold. Megan had not merely hidden the past. She had monetized it. When he came home, the house smelled of lavender cleaner and panic. Megan was on the phone in the living room. Yes, next Friday still works, she said brightly. The gala announcement will be elegant, family-centered, aspirational. She saw him and ended the call. The school fundraiser, she said. You know that. I know more every hour. It's important. For whom? For Lily's school. For my board position. For the partnership. There it was. The parenting brand had courted Megan for months, podcasts, sponsored panels, curated content around raising resilient daughters in modern families. Adrian had smiled through photo shoots he barely noticed at the time. Now he understood why image had become oxygen. You're still doing it, he asked. Life doesn't stop because we're having problems. We're not having problems. You created a fraud. She crossed her arms. If you humiliate me publicly, you humiliate Lily too. No, he said. You built that equation so you could hide behind her. For the first time, fear sharpened her face. What are you planning? The truth? That's not a plan. That's a weapon. Only against lies. That evening, Lily sat on the back patio steps under a gray sky, knees drawn up, hoodie sleeves covering her hands. Adrian joined her with 2 mugs of hot chocolate. She accepted one without thanks. Mom says everyone lies, sometimes, Lily said. Convenient timing. She said adults make impossible choices. He nodded. Sometimes true. Is there a version where she's not terrible? He considered before answering. Yes. Lily looked surprised. She may have been scared at first, he said, then ashamed, then trapped by the size of what she'd hidden. People can become worse defending an old mistake than they were making it. Lily stared at the yard. That sounds like a TED Talk. He laughed despite himself. Then she asked very quietly, if I'm not yours, do I still stay with you? He set his mug down. You are not a lease tied to genetics. Her mouth trembled. I don't know what courts do, he continued. I know what I do. I show up. She leaned against his shoulder like she had when she was 6. Inside the house, Megan watched through the kitchen window. At midnight, Adrian received another email from the unknown sender. You're looking at money. Look at access. Attached were screenshots of blocked messages from Nathan Vail across social platforms, some dating back a decade. Can I send a gift? Can I attend from a distance? Please tell her someday I tried. Every account had been blocked within minutes. At the bottom was one final screenshot from 3 months earlier. I'm done paying to be erased. If she learns the truth, it won't be from you. Adrian's jaw tightened. He checked the sender metadata. Masked. Routed through encrypted forwarding. But one clue remained in the file names NV_archive. Nathan himself or someone close enough to him. The next morning, Megan entered the study without knocking. You've been digging through private accounts. Our accounts, my personal account, the one funded by secrecy. She ignored it. You need to calm down before next week. He looked up. You keep mentioning next week like it's sacred. It matters. To your sponsorship, to our future. There is no hour that survives performance. Her voice dropped. If you sabotage that gala, I will fight for Lily aggressively. I'll document your erratic behavior, your obsession, your emotional volatility. He almost admired the speed of the pivot. Do that, he said. And I'll submit 14 years of concealed financial transfers, manipulated paternity records, and obstruction of possible parental contact. Megan's confidence flickered. You'd destroy all of us. No, Adrian said. I'd stop being the only one paying for your choices. She stepped back. Then softly, You think Lily will thank you for burning her mother in public? He held her gaze. I think she deserves at least one parent who fears truth less than embarrassment. Megan left without another word. Later that day, Lily came into the study holding a printed flyer. Ridgeview Academy Annual Gala, 1 week away. Celebrating family leadership and community values, featuring special announcement by Megan Cole. She laughed once short bitter. Wow. Adrian took the flyer. A family leadership gala. 1 week, 1 stage, 1 microphone, and finally a deadline. Rain arrived before dawn and stayed. Seattle disappeared behind sheets of gray water windows, blurring into mirrors that gave nothing back. Inside the Cole house, sound traveled strangely. Footsteps seemed louder, doors softer. Every movement carried the caution of people living near broken glass. Adrian woke on the study couch with a stiff neck and 3 unread emails from clients he no longer cared about. He showered, dressed, and found Lily already in the kitchen, sitting cross-legged on a stool in one of his sweatshirts, eating dry cereal from a mug. She looked exhausted. You're up early, he said. Couldn't sleep. Same club. She pushed the cereal box toward him. An offering or habit. He poured coffee instead. Megan was gone. A note sat on the counter in careful handwriting. At Pilates. We need to act like adults when I get back. Lily read it upside down and snorted. That means she has a script. Adrian folded the note once and set it aside. For a few minutes they ate and drank in silence. Rain tapped the skylight overhead. Then Lily said, I need to tell you something before Mom gets home. His chest tightened. Okay. She stared into the mug, rotating it between both hands. I found the box before yesterday. He didn't speak. Not the whole thing, just 1 letter. In February. The room seemed to narrow. You read it, she nodded. It was the one where he said, if the baby was his, he deserved to know. Adrian sat opposite her. How long have you known I didn't know? I suspected. How long? Months. He absorbed the number like impact. Why didn't you tell me? Her eyes filled instantly, anger at herself arriving faster than tears. Because I was scared. Of me. Yes. The word cut cleanly. She rushed to explain. Not that you'd yell, or hit me. Nothing like that. Her breath shook. I thought if you knew you'd look at me different, or leave, or become polite. Polite. You know. She swallowed. Like dads who still pay for things but stop loving you in their face. Adrian looked away. Children invent definitions of abandonment from scraps adults leave lying around. You thought I'd stop being your father. I thought I'd stop being worth it. He closed his eyes briefly. No, he said. No, Lily. You can say that now. I would have said it then. But I didn't know that. There it was. Not biology. Not infidelity. Not even deception. Fear as household architecture. What made you think love here could disappear so easily? He asked quietly. She laughed once without humor. Have you met Mom? He almost answered reflexively, then stopped. Lily continued before he could. If I got a B instead of an A, she got quiet for days. If I wore the wrong dress to a school thing, she'd say I was embarrassing us. If I cried before pictures, she'd ask if I wanted to ruin Christmas cards. Adrian felt heat rise behind his ribs. She never did that in front of me. She's smart. Lily's tone held no triumph, only fatigue. She'd wait until you were at work, or say it sweetly enough that it sounded normal. He thought of all the years he'd admired Megan's discipline, her polish, her standards. How often had cruelty dressed itself as refinement? She said men stay when things are easy, Lily added. So girls should never become difficult. The sentence sat between them like poison. Did she say that to you? A lot of versions of it? Adrian's hands curled around his mug. He had been betrayed in one marriage. Lily had been trained inside one. When Megan returned yoga mat under one arm and rain on her coat, she stepped into a kitchen already changed. Lily remained on the stool. Adrian stood by the sink. No one greeted her. Megan sensed the temperature instantly. What happened? Lily answered first. I told him. Megan set the mat down slowly. Told him what? That I found the letter months ago. A flash of calculation crossed Megan's face. Then concern. Sweetheart, you should have come to me. Lily laughed outright this time. That's insane. I could have explained. You explain everything until it means nothing. Lily. No. She slid off the stool. You don't get to use my name like a pause button. Megan's eyes moved to Adrian. Are you going to let her speak to me like this? He said nothing. Something in Megan's posture tightened. Adrian. I'm listening, he said. Maybe try it. Megan turned back to Lily. I did what mothers do. I protected stability. You protected appearances. I protected you from chaos. You taught me love leaves if I'm inconvenient. The words landed harder than any accusation Adrian had made. Megan recoiled. That is not true. It's exactly true. I pushed you because the world is hard. No, Lily said. You pushed me because you're scared. Silence. Megan's face hardened into something colder than anger. You sound just like him right now. Lily blinked. What dramatic. Self-righteous. Determined to punish everyone. Adrian stepped forward once. Careful. Megan ignored him. You think he's steady? He's obsessed. He's sleeping in the study, skipping work, digging through accounts. Does that feel healthy? There it was again. Instability. Narrative as weapon. Lily looked from one parent to the other and saw maybe for the first time the mechanics of manipulation exposed in daylight. You always do that, she said softly. Do what? When you're wrong, you make someone else the emergency. Megan's composure slipped. I am still your mother, and I'm still your audience. Lily walked out. No slammed door this time, just departure. It was somehow harsher. That afternoon, Adrian sat alone in the study with the wooden box open beside him. He no longer saw it as evidence of an affair. It was a time capsule of controlled reality. Letters intercepted, tests buried, money rerouted, narratives edited, a child taught conditional worth. He had spent days asking whether Lily was his by blood. Now the question felt smaller. The deeper theft was trust. A knock came at the doorframe. Megan stood there, arms folded tightly. You're enjoying this, she said. He looked up slowly. You mistake clarity for pleasure. She turned on me because you encouraged it. She turned toward truth because it was starving. You always wanted to be the gentle parent. Her voice sharpened. Easy to look noble when someone else handles discipline. He almost laughed. Discipline, he said. You mean fear with nicer branding. Her eyes flashed. You think you know everything now? No. I think I know enough. She stepped closer. If you keep poisoning her against me, I'll make sure the court hears how emotionally volatile you've become. And I'll make sure they hear how long a minor was manipulated through secrecy and financial coercion. They stood inches apart. Two people who once chose each other, now speaking only in leverage. Then Megan said the one thing she should have kept buried. She would never choose you if she knew the whole story. Adrian's expression changed. What whole story? Megan realized it too late, but instead of retreating, she smiled faintly. There are still things in that box you haven't found. She turned and walked away. Adrian stared at the doorway long after she was gone. Upstairs, Lily's bedroom door opened. Dad, she called. The word came naturally this time. And for the first time since the box was opened, Adrian understood what he had to protect and what he would have to destroy to do it. The attorney's office overlooked Elliott Bay. Glass walls, minimalist furniture, expensive quiet. The kind of place designed to make panic behave itself. Claire Mercer entered without apology or small talk. Mid-40s charcoal suit, silver watch eyes that had likely ended marriages before breakfast. "You're late by 2 minutes," she said. "Traffic. Excuses are for people paying hourly. Sit." Adrian almost smiled for the first time in days. He placed the wooden box, a laptop, and 3 folders on the conference table. Claire looked at the box first. "That usually means either inheritance or disaster," both Adrian said. For 90 minutes he spoke while she listened, interrupting only to narrow facts into usable lines. Affair matters emotionally, rarely legally. Concealed paternity, relevant. Secret payments, potentially very relevant. Blocked contact from possible biological father, highly relevant. Manipulation of a child. She met his eyes. If provable, combustible. He slid over printed transfers, archived emails, screenshots, the amended lab report, copies of Nathan Vale's letters. Claire organized everything into neat stacks with terrifying speed. "You've done good preliminary work," she said. "I design buildings." "Excellent. Now design chronology." She handed him a yellow pad. "Dates, events, lies told, money moved, witnesses. Anything emotional goes in a separate column so it doesn't contaminate facts." He nodded. Then she asked the only question that mattered. "What do you want?" He answered too quickly. "Lily." Claire leaned back. "Incorrect. She is not property. Try again." He exhaled. "I want stability for her. Better. I want truth on record. Better. I want Megan unable to weaponize our daughter." Claire's expression softened by half a degree. "Now we're working." At home, Megan had begun renovating reality. By noon, she posted a photo to social media, fresh flowers on the kitchen island, captioned, "Some seasons test a family. Grace matters most." Comments flooded in. "You're such a strong mom. Your family is beautiful. Praying for peace." Adrian saw it because 3 people texted him the screenshot. He did not respond. Then came a second post, a blurred image of coffee beside legal pads. When one person chooses anger, another must choose healing. He stared at the screen. Narrative warfare in pastel fonts. Lily found him in the study. "She blocked me from comments," Lily said. He looked up. What I replied, "Please stop posting about us." Then I got blocked. The sentence was so absurd it became tragic. "Come here," he said. She sat on the couch, knees tucked under her. "Are courts really a thing now?" she asked. "Yes." "Am I supposed to pick a parent?" "Not today, but soon." He didn't lie. "Maybe they'll ask what feels safe." She looked at the floor. That used to be easy. The next 3 days became evidence. Adrian worked from the dining table, laptop, open scanner, humming timelines expanding across taped sheets of paper. He slept little, ate less. Precision replaced appetite. Claire's assistant requested everything. Bank records showing 14 years of hidden transfers. Archived email chains where Megan impersonated Adrian's disinterest. One message from a burner address read, "Please stop contacting this family. Adrian knows the truth and wants no involvement from you." Sent years before Adrian knew anything. Witness statements from 2 former neighbors who recalled Nathan once being turned away at the door. A former preschool administrator confirmed a man named Nathan Vale had tried to leave a birthday gift and was told by Megan never to return. Each fact was a brick. Each brick had been laid by Megan herself. Megan noticed the structure rising. That evening she entered the study without knocking. "You hired a lawyer." "Yes. You're trying to destroy me." "I'm trying to stop you." She laughed sharply. "From what? Protecting my daughter. From using her. She is my daughter. She is not your shield." Megan's eyes glistened instantly, a talent now impossible to unsee. "You've changed." "No," Adrian said. "I've become informed." She stepped closer, voice lowering. "If you drag me through court, sponsors disappear. Board positions vanish. Everything I built." He held her gaze. You keep describing consequences like weather." For a moment, rage stripped her polish. "You think people will side with a man who abandons a teenage girl after learning she isn't his? I haven't abandoned anyone. You moved into the study. I moved away from deception. She'll remember distance, not nuance." The line was smart enough to wound. After she left, it did. 2 days later, the school called. Not to Adrian. To Claire first, because Megan had already filed an emergency motion seeking temporary exclusive decision-making authority citing Adrian's erratic behavior, sleep instability, and obsessive fixation causing distress in the home. Claire phoned immediately. She moved faster than expected, she said. "What does it mean?" "It means custody is no longer theoretical." He gripped the counter. "Can she do that?" "She can file paper. Whether she wins depends on evidence. And Lily, get her a therapist now. Independent, licensed, respected. Judges love reality more than drama." By evening, Lily had an appointment scheduled. When he told her, she shrugged. "So I need therapy because Mom lies professionally." "No," he said gently. "You need support because adults failed loudly." She nodded, eyes wet. "Okay." The smear campaign widened subtly. A parent from Ridgeview Academy avoided Adrian in the parking lot. Another said, "Hope you're taking care of yourself, man," in the tone people use when they've heard things. Then the gala committee email arrived. "Due to sensitive family matters, we trust all parties will maintain decorum at next week's event." Megan had been talking. At dinner, Lily pushed food around her plate. "People stared at me today." Kids' parents. She looked at Megan, who sliced salmon with surgical calm. "Did you tell people Dad's unstable?" Megan dabbed her mouth with a napkin. "I told close friends, we're going through a difficult time." "That's not what I asked." Lily. "No." "Did you?" Megan's voice chilled. "I will not be interrogated at my own table." Lily stood. "It's his table. He designed it." Then she walked upstairs. Adrian nearly laughed despite the ache. Megan set down her fork. "You're enjoying her cruelty now, too." "No," he said. "I'm watching her learn pattern recognition." That night, Claire emailed a draft response motion. Strong, precise, merciless. She also added one line. If public reputation is central to her leverage, the gala may become strategically relevant. Adrian read it twice. The gala. 1 week, shrinking to 4 days. He opened the wooden box again, searching for what Megan hinted remained hidden. Under old photos, beneath folded tissue paper taped to the underside lid where no one would casually look, he found a sealed envelope. Handwritten. "For Adrian, if she never tells you. Nathan Vale." Adrian stared at it for a long moment before opening. Inside was a letter and a flash drive. Upstairs, Lily laughed briefly at something on her phone, first laughter in days. Downstairs, Adrian inserted the drive into his laptop. The screen populated with folders. Videos, email exports, DNA, correspondence meeting recordings. His pulse slowed into something colder than anger. Megan had just lost the advantage. She simply didn't know it yet. Ridgeview Academy's annual gala was held in the renovated atrium of a downtown museum where wealth liked to borrow culture for the evening. Glass ceilings arched above white linen tables. String lights reflected in polished stone. Silent auction displays lined the walls beside student art arranged to look accidental. Waiters moved with trays of champagne. People spoke in lowered voices, calibrated to sound humble while being overheard. At the entrance, a step-and-repeat banner carried logos from local sponsors, and one new brand in large gold letters, Haven Home, raising better families. Megan's partnership. She arrived in ivory silk. The room noticed. Adrian watched from across the atrium with Claire Mercer beside him, both dressed in black that made no attempt to charm. Lily stood between them in a navy dress she had chosen herself. No curls forced into place. No smile coached in the car. "You don't have to stay," Adrian said quietly. "I know," Lily replied. "Then why are you here?" She looked at the crowd gathering around Megan. because she always counts on everyone leaving. Claire almost smiled. Smart kid, she said. Across the room, Megan was already performing grace. Hand to chest, warm laugh, controlled vulnerability. Families are never perfect, she told a donor loud enough for neighboring tables. But resilience is what matters. Adrian recognized the cadence. She was turning scandal into branding before scandal had fully formed. A gala coordinator approached him nervously. Mr. Cole. Mrs. Cole mentioned there may be personal tension tonight. We hope everyone keeps remarks aligned with the fundraising purpose. Claire answered before Adrian could. Excellent. We also prefer truth aligned with purpose. The coordinator retreated. At 7:42, the headmaster tapped a microphone. Thank you all for supporting Ridgeview Academy. Tonight we celebrate leadership scholarship and the families who make this community possible. Applause. Then it's my pleasure to welcome board member Megan Cole, who has championed parental engagement and resilience. More applause. Stronger. Megan took the stage glowing under warm lights. She thanked sponsors, praised educators, mentioned challenging private days that remind us public kindness matters. A practiced pause invited sympathy and received it. Then she smiled. I'm also honored to announce a new partnership with Haven Home, where I'll be leading a series on raising daughters with honesty, strength, and trust. The irony moved through Adrian like ice. Applause again. Claire leaned toward him. Now. He stood. Actually, Adrian said, voice carrying farther than expected, before we celebrate trust, there's context missing. The room shifted. Megan's smile faltered by 1 millimeter. Adrian, she said lightly, not tonight. Tonight is exactly when you scheduled the lie. Whispers began. The headmaster half rose, then sat when Claire flashed a legal card and a look sharp enough to cut furniture. Adrian walked to the stage, slowly carrying the wooden box. Every eye followed it. Megan's face changed when she saw the box. Real fear now. Unstyled. He took the second microphone. My wife has spent years building an image around motherhood honesty and family leadership. He placed the box on the podium. This was hidden in our storage room. No one moved. He opened it. Inside lay letters, reports, receipts, photos. This box contains a concealed paternity test regarding our daughter correspondence with the man who may be her biological father and years of financial transfers hidden from our family accounts. Gasps were ugly sounds in formalware. Megan stepped forward. This is private and cruel. No, Adrian said calmly. Private was 14 years ago. Cruel was what followed. He held up the first lab report. This one claimed I was not Lily's biological father. Then the amended report. This one voided the first due to contamination. She hid both. Murmurs intensified. Board members exchanged looks. One sponsor representative lowered his champagne glass without drinking. Megan reached for the microphone. Adrian stepped aside just enough to deny her center stage. She was protecting our child, Megan said, voice shaking beautifully. Adrian nodded once. Then let's discuss protection. He signaled Claire, who handed the AV technician a flash drive. The large screen behind the stage lit up. Emails appeared. Please stop contacting this family. Adrian knows the truth and wants no involvement from you. Sent from Megan's burner account. Another. For Lily's tuition as promised. Bank transfer confirmation. Another. You promised I could meet her at 10 years old. Nathan Vale. The room was silent now except for the projector fan. Adrian spoke into that silence. She accepted money from a man she blocked from contact. She forged my position. She used our daughter's identity as leverage while marketing herself as a parenting authority. Megan lunged toward the technician. Security intercepted gently but firmly. This is harassment, she shouted. No, Lily said from below the stage. Every head turned. She walked forward alone. No trembling now. This is my life. The words were simple enough to wound everyone present. She climbed the steps and stood beside Adrian, not Megan. My mom told people truth matters when it looks good. Lily faced the crowd. She told me men leave when girls become difficult. She made me scared to ask who I was. Megan's voice broke. Lily, sweetheart, please, don't call me sweetheart when there's an audience. A few people looked away. Others looked at Megan for the first time without admiration. The sponsor representative from Haven Homes stood from table 12. We're suspending all discussions, effective immediately. A board treasurer followed. In light of undisclosed conduct, Ms. Cole should step back pending review. Another voice agreed. Then another. The social structure Megan had curated for years did not explode. It simply withdrew. Phones were out now, texts flying, futures recalculating in real time. The headmaster whispered furiously with counsel. Claire checked her watch like a woman waiting for coffee. Megan turned to Adrian with naked hatred. You wanted to destroy me. He met her gaze evenly. No. I wanted you unable to destroy us anymore. Tears streamed down her face now, but they could no longer organize sympathy. She turned to Lily. I did everything for you. Lily's expression did not change. No, she said. You did everything through me. That was the fatal sentence. Megan's knees seemed to weaken. She gripped the podium, then looked out at a room full of witnesses who had stopped believing. For the first time in years, she had no script. Later outside, beneath museum lights and cold spring air, reporters had not yet arrived, but rumor had. Parents exited in clusters, speaking softly. Sponsors left quickly. Board members avoided eye contact with everyone. Claire handed Adrian a folder. Emergency hearing moved up to Monday, she said. After tonight, leverage shifted. Thank you. I enjoy competent revenge, she replied. This was cleaner than most. She walked away. Lily stood beside him on the steps, arms folded against the cold. Inside through the glass, Megan sat alone at an abandoned table while staff dismantled centerpieces around her. Do you feel better? Lily asked. Adrian thought carefully. No. Me neither. They watched workers remove the Haven Home banner. But Lily added after a moment, I feel safer. He looked at her. That mattered more than victory. Then his phone buzzed. Unknown number. I'm outside. I think it's time we meet. Nathan Vale. Adrian looked toward the dark line of parked cars across the street. Tonight had ended one story. Another was already stepping out of the shadows. By Monday morning, the internet had done what courts never could, simplified everything badly. Perfect mom exposed. At charity gala. School board scandal turns personal parenting influencer, accused of years of deception. Photos of Megan crying at the podium circulated beside clips of Lily's steady voice. This is my life. Strangers chose teams. Friends went silent. Sponsors issued polished statements about values. Haven Home announced it had paused all affiliation discussions indefinitely. But the real damage was quieter. 3 board members resigned rather than answer questions about what they knew. Megan's consulting clients suspended contracts. The school requested she step down immediately from all committees pending review. Consequences had finally found her name. The mediation offices were deliberately neutral. Soft gray walls, plants no one watered personally, abstract art designed to offend no one, rooms built for endings spoken in indoor voices. Adrian arrived with Claire Mercer and a folder thick enough to matter. Lily waited in a separate family room with a therapist appointed to observe transitions. She wore jeans, sneakers, and the guarded calm of someone aging too quickly. Megan entered 10 minutes late. No silk now, no glow. Navy suit, no jewelry, except her wedding ring, which she still wore like a legal argument. She sat across from Adrian and did not look at him. The mediator, a retired judge named Ellen Ross, opened with practiced gentleness. We are here to discuss temporary custody communication protocols, financial disclosures, and the emotional best interests of the child. The child has a name, Lily said from the doorway. Everyone turned. She stepped in before the therapist could stop her. And I'm 14, not furniture? Judge Ross nodded once. You're right. Megan's eyes filled instantly. Sweetheart, please stop doing tears as punctuation. Claire lowered her gaze to hide a smile. Lily sat beside Adrian. That choice alone changed the room. The next 2 hours stripped illusion from procedure. Hidden transfers were entered into record. Burner emails were acknowledged. Megan's interference with potential contact from Nathan Vale was documented. The therapist summarized Lily's reported anxiety, perfectionism, fear of abandonment, and long-term pressure tied to maternal approval. Megan tried several versions of defense. I made mistakes under stress. I was protecting stability. I never meant harm. Then finally, I was afraid of losing my family. Judge Ross folded her hands. And in trying to prevent loss, you created it. No one argued. Temporary orders were issued before lunch primary residence with Adrian. Structured parenting time for Megan. Supervised transition counseling required. No social media references to Lily or family matters. Full financial disclosure within 10 days. Paternity status legally irrelevant to Adrian's standing as presumed and functional father unless challenged through separate proceedings. Megan stared at the papers as if language itself had betrayed her. You're taking my daughter, no, Judge Ross said evenly. Your conduct narrowed your access. The distinction was surgical. Nathan Vale waited in the lobby cafe. Tall silver beginning at the temples, the kind of face age had improved by making it honest. He stood when Adrian approached. Neither man offered a hand immediately. I didn't know if I should come, Nathan said. You came. I should have sooner. Adrian studied him. No arrogance, no triumph, just regret worn long enough to fit. They sat. I sent the files, Nathan admitted. I assumed. I was done paying to disappear. He glanced toward the family room. But I never wanted to hurt her. You still might. Nathan accepted that. I was 29 and stupid, he said. Megan told me you were temporary. Then she told me you knew everything. Then she said contacting Lily would traumatize her. Every year there was a new story. And you kept paying. I kept hoping money meant eventual access. Adrian looked through the glass partition. Lily was laughing softly with the therapist at something on a worksheet. You understand she already has a father, Adrian said. Nathan's eyes stayed on Lily. Yes, he said quietly. That's why I'm stepping back. Adrian turned. Nathan continued. If she wants to know me someday, I'll be available. But I watched her on that stage. She didn't look for blood. She looked for safety. The truth of it stung because it was kind. You could challenge legally, Adrian said. I could, Nathan replied, and lose the only decent thing left to do. For the first time, Adrian extended his hand. Nathan took it. Not friendship. Recognition. Megan asked to speak privately before leaving. They stood in an empty hallway where framed landscapes tried to soften failure. I did love you, she said. Adrian believed she meant it. Love had simply never outranked fear in her. You loved outcomes, he answered. She flinched. I'm losing everything. No, he said. You lost things slowly. Today is just when you noticed. Tears came again, but smaller now, less strategic. I don't know how to fix this. That may be the first true thing you've said in weeks. He walked away before compassion could become confusion. That evening, rain tapped lightly against the house that still stood. Megan's closet was half empty. Her framed photos were boxed by the entryway for later pickup. The silence felt different now, not hostile, just honest. Adrian found Lily in the storage room. The wooden box sat open between them. You hate this thing, she asked. Deeply. Me too. She lifted one of the old photos, then set it back. What happens now? Messy schedules, therapy, lawyers getting rich. She smiled. And us. He considered carefully. We learn the difference between history and identity. She looked at him for a long time. Then she asked the question that had haunted every room of the house. Do you want to know the DNA answer? He thought of tests, reports, samples, percentages. All the ways adults outsource meaning. No, he said. Really? If you want to know someday, I'll support it. If you don't, I'll support that too. But you don't care. He stepped closer. I care about many things. Whether I carried you in blood 14 years ago is lower on the list than who carried you through all 14. Her face broke open, not in pain this time, but relief too large to hide. She crossed the room in 2 steps and wrapped her arms around him. When she spoke, her voice was muffled against his shirt. Dad? No hesitation, no testing, no witness required. He closed his eyes and held her tighter. The old box remained open on the floor, emptied of power at last. Outside, rain kept falling on roofs, streets, strangers, and all the families built from choice instead of certainty. Inside, justice had arrived in the form that mattered most, not genetic, chosen.